What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, bright and early on a Saturday morning. Good morning to everybody. 7:04 a.m. It is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. My man Mike behind the scenes on the board. Good morning to everybody listening across the radio waves here in the Baton Rouge capital city area on 107.3. Good to have you guys with us, and as well as everybody watching and listening on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Good to have you guys with us. As always, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to get those numbers up, and be sure to follow us across all social media and, of course, on our Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just type in the Jaguar Journal. Also, you can look on X and Instagram, X formerly known as Twitter, as well as Instagram, Jaguar Journal _, and Facebook. Simply type in the Jaguar Journal. On any one of those, you can follow our link tree to all of our social media outlets, and you'll be able to stay connected with the Jaguar Journal as we continue to grow. And we want you guys to grow with us. Understand this show is radio-based. It has been that since its inception. But there are other forms of media out there that we're trying to grow into, and other platforms that we want to take the Jaguar Journal into as the future grows for this show, and as the world evolves around the show, of so many different areas to be able to listen to it. So we want to make sure we bring it to you. And we have grown just outside of Baton Rouge because we are right on radio in Baton Rouge. But now with the addition of YouTube, the addition of Facebook, we have listeners all over the country. And you'll typically see them in the comment section, checking in from St. Petersburg, Florida, checking in Harlem, New York, checking in D.C., Dallas, Houston, Chicago. I've seen Arkansas, California. Should I continue? Atlanta, all over the place, and then all across the state of Louisiana. So it shows the power that people do listen to the Jaguar Journal. It shows the power that people are interested. Now what we have to do is show that we have to grow to be able to bring this to people who have not heard of the Jaguar Journal yet. That's one of the things Mike and I were having a discussion about, how to take this show, because one thing I do understand, we want to initially hear the things that's going on at Southern University. particularly around athletics as well as the world of academia with the school. But I also understand the strengths of this show, and I also understand what the fans like. And you guys like football, no doubt about it. Football, football, football. If I could talk about football every Saturday on here, I can assure you, you guys would be tuned in. The numbers will be completely different, but it is not football season. But speaking about football, Southern University losing a legendary personality, former player and coach. Coach Sean Wallace passed away this week of pancreatic cancer at the age of 52. And listen, anybody that knows Coach Sean Wallace has been around him knows just his energy. His energy is felt. His voice is heard. And unfortunately, he was taken too soon. A guy who I can recall just last year, some of the players doing practice, Southern University football practice, were on the sideline, and I'm not sure what the punishment was, why it was, but Sean Wallace was the one giving out the punishment. He had the guys on the sideline doing all type of workouts. And the thing about the workouts, they were grueling. Trust me, watching, they were grueling workouts. But you want to know who was right there doing those grueling workouts with those players? Sean Wallace, leading the way, doing it better than the players at their young age. Going through the entire motion and everything and just understanding, because we've seen the hashtag Sean Strong. We've all been behind it once this news had broke. And we understood the severity of the situation. And anybody who has dealt with cancer, family members dealt with cancer, understand, though, it is a tough time when you start to talk about the entire situation. And Sean Wallace, a native of New Orleans, Louisiana, was graduated from O. Perry Walker Senior High School down in New Orleans, got his education at Southern University. And not only did he get his education, we learned of who Sean Wallace was as a student athlete on the football field, playing for legendary Coach Pete Richardson. And in Coach Richardson's first season, Sean Wallace led the Jaguars to the #1 defense in the country on his way to both a 1993 SWAC championship as well as a Black College National Championship. He went on to spend a year in the NFL with the Arizona Cardinals, but most of all, as a player, he was highly decorated, earning 2-time All-SWAC. He was named the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. He was the Bayou Classic MVP, as well as a 2-time Sheridan Black College All-American, Walter Camp All-American, and Kodak All-American. In 2011, Sean Wallace was elected to the Southern University Football Hall of Fame. He returned to Southern to be the safeties coach. And it's recalled a year in 2023 when Eric Dooley was ultimately let go of his position. Sean Wallace stepped in as the acting coach for the Bayou Classic. Has a tremendous impact on Southern University athletics, particularly its football program. A tremendous impact on young people because, listen, a lot of you guys may not have access or have even been in the field house during football season when the team is in position meetings. But I can assure you, you know when Sean Wallace is up speaking to the team. You can hear him from anywhere around when he's up speaking to the team. That was the energy that he brought. That was the man who he was. And a lot of times that energy, you knew it was no mistaking the way he came across. And it was with love. But at the same time, it was like, we got to get this. And a lot of times I saw Sean last year, around the sidelines and, pregame, going through his motions, making sure the guys needed to do what they needed to do and be in position. But this is sad news coming from Southern University. Sean Wallace passing away this week at 52 due to pancreatic cancer. Legendary football player. New Orleans native. And once again, I'll go back over his stats because what we don't want, while we mourn, we never want our legends to be forgotten. And Sean Wallace is both a legend on and off the field. He's a legend whether he's a player or a coach. He did his part to continue to carry on the legacy of Southern University, and he helped reignite and restore what we consider that championship mindset at Southern University, in which he did under first-year Coach Pete Richardson back in 1993, as Sean Wallace once again led the Jaguars to the #1 defense in the country, a 1993 SWAC championship and Black College National Championship, two-time All-SWAC, SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, Bayou Classic MVP, and a two-time Sheridan Black College All-American to go along with a Walter Camp All-American, a Kodak All-American, also elected to the 2011 Southern University Football Hall of Fame. I'm saddened to share the news this morning at Southern University. Defensive coach, safeties coach, Sean Wallace passed away this week at the age of 52 due to pancreatic cancer. Let's get ready to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue the show. Stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And, Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8, the deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal as we get things rocking and rolling this morning. Want to welcome to the show very special guest. She is the head coach of the Southern University softball team. Let's welcome to the show Coach Brittany Williams. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning to you all.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. It's a great day. We got some games going. Well, getting ready to play, so it's always good game day.
Oh, yeah, the season is rocking and rolling, and glad to have you on with us. Last week, she was busy with this team picking up some W's. And let's talk about the Southern University softball team as we get things rocking and rolling. Right now, you guys are 3-6 on the season, riding a 3-game win streak, but you started the season out on the West Coast, taking on teams like California Baptist, San Diego State, Utah Tech, and Cal State Fullerton. Talk about that trip over to the West Coast and the Eastern Classic and what that meant for your program to go out. And also, does that work for recruiting for you out on the West Coast?
Yes. So over 50% of my team is from California. So this trip was 2 years in the making for us. I have a senior that's been playing with me for 4 years that never met her parents. They haven't been able to come watch her play. So being able to provide the opportunity for her whole family to come out, cousins, like uncles, aunts. We had a ton of fans in California. I had some commits come out and watch us play as well. So the trip was amazing for our fan base, and also like it taught us a lot in such a little weekend. A lot of the teams we played went to super regionals or regionals last year, and it humbles you a little bit. Lets you know like what needs to be done to get to that level. If you make one little mistake, they capitalize on it. So I was glad that my team was able to learn that early.
over 50% of your rosters from California. What is that California connection for Southern to go out on the West Coast and bring some of those players down here to the South?
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of them, their parents went to Southern University and have moved out to the West Coast. And then also travel ball teams that I have some connections with. Shanita Edwards is one. She's a huge connect for me out there in California. And she came out, also sent me some recruits from out there. So that's kind of how that California connection happened.
Looking at that California connection and for you looking at recruiting, let's talk about some new names to this team as you guys get the season started this year. What are some additions to this team, and what did we lose from last year? And when I say additions, I'm looking at maybe freshmen coming in as well as transfer portal.
Yes, we have Katiana. She is our leadoff now. So Asia George was our leadoff for 3 years. And Kat has come in and as a freshman and taken over that role in that spot. She's batting over 600 in that spot. We have a JUCO transfer, Andy Suhai. She was high on our radar coming from JUCO. She had over 60 RBIs and over 16 home runs for the season. So we're really excited about her showcasing her talent on our team as well. And then we have a new pitcher on staff. Her name is Aaliyah Zambala and Emma Rogers. We have two. Emma's from New Orleans. So getting to see them showcase their talents, too, in the circle. So we're excited about that.
Looking forward to this season. All right, let's talk about those games in California. What did you learn from your team to start the season off? You know, it started off a little rough, but the level of competition that you guys were up against was pretty tough. But looking at your team, figuring it out, and let's go around the bag, starting from your pitcher and everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I loved it. Before we went out there, we did our scouts. I told them, like, we were facing some teams that their averages as a team was over 300. So that means 1 through 9, you have to fight in the circle. And they capitalize on mistakes. If you leave it over the plate, it's getting sent out of the park. So the first 2 days, I mean, we were getting home runs hit off of us like nobody's business. And then day 3 and 4, we kept the ball in the park. So that was a huge win for us. No home runs were hit off of us that day. So huge growth in the circle in that area. And hitting-wise, being disciplined. So we aren't used to seeing, as much spin and speed as they have out there. And I thought our hitters did well. I mean, we started off LMU with bases loaded. So proud of them taking what we did into practice and portraying it out there on the field.
Then you guys go over to Covington, Georgia for the HBCU Collegiate Invitational. You take on North Carolina Central. You fall short by 2 runs in that one, but then you pick up 3 wins in a row against Coppin State, 7-5. You get Howard in 6 inning, 13-5. Then you closed it out 7-6 over Fort Valley State. That last game against Hampton, because of weather, did not take place. But then you also had Texas A&M Corpus Christi also got due to weather. But looking at your team in those games and those 3 wins, 3-game winning streak, seem to have figured it out.
Yeah, so I'm huge on Kobe. We watch Kobe clips, and one of his biggest things is you lose or you learn. So we learned a ton in California, and I told them that when we were there, told them that when we got to Georgia, like, now it's our turn to teach lessons. I said, we learned a lot, now we are the teacher. So we took that in. That first game was a little rough for us. We had a rough ending. I don't want to blame anybody, but it was rough. And then from there, I think it really clicked. They are like, okay, yeah, we're here to teach some lessons. So hopefully we continue that on for the rest of the season.
Now you guys continue. You up in Monroe, Louisiana, the Warhawk Invitational today at 11 a.m. You're taking on Stephen F. Austin. At 1:30, you have Eastern Illinois tomorrow. Up that way, you have Houston Christian. And then at 3 o'clock at Houston Christian, that'll be at 12:30. And then at 3 o'clock, you guys will end things out on the day with ULM. What are you looking forward to in that Warhawk Invitational up in Monroe against this talent?
We're looking forward to compete. So we did well in the Georgia tournament. We grew. There's still some things, of course, as coaches, we always see things we can improve on. So I'm ready for the next step. We're ready for domination to come out there and set the tone for the game and continue that tone. Once we're up, continue to stay up. So little things like that, just perfecting our game so that we are ready for a SWAC tournament.
And then next week, you guys going to keep things going in the Southeastern Mardi Gras Mumbo Invitational. You guys going to take on West Georgia, University of Maine, Iowa State, Monmouth. You know, as you continue to go through, talk to us about some bright spots of these young ladies this year. Who are you looking for to have a breakout season this year for Southern University softball?
Definitely Alana Mark. Alana Mark has had 3 very good seasons underneath us. This is her last year, and she's ready to just go off. So I'm looking forward for her to, I guess, surpass what she has done in the past. Miranda and Jordan in the circle on the mound for us, they were freshmen last year, sophomores this year, and their mentality, the way that they think, the way that they compete in the circle has grown so much. So I'm ready for them to showcase their talents and increase their strikeout ratio and be big in the circle there. Also, Alyssa and Alani, they're both my seniors and captains. They lead so well on the team, and they've been quiet for the last 3 years. But I'm ready for them to break through this year.
Tell them it's time. Time out for being quiet. Time to make some noise. You know, and let me ask you this. You know, as you look from last season into this year, what did you learn about yourself as a coach? Because, you know, every year you look back and you evaluate. What are some things you learned about yourself as a head coach coming out of last season that you felt could help this year?
So last season, we went further than we expected. I'll say we lost some middles. We had a pitcher in the middle, and we had a second baseman who had arm surgery, and we made it to the tournament, fought there. So I feel like we filled those holes, and everything else around it is pretty much the same and has grown and gotten stronger. So this year we're working on capitalizing on our strengths and competing at a more efficient level.
And looking at yourself, Coach Williams, it's not just you on your staff. Talk about your staff. Any additions or what's going on with your staff as you guys get the season started off here in 2025?
Oh, man, I love my staff. Coach Jessie Watt, she's been with me for 4 years now. We actually switched roles. So she did pitching in the past, so I have pitching and scouting this year. And she has been working with the hitters this season. So that switch has kind of both lit a fire underneath us. And we always compete. So I want the pitchers to be better than the hitters. And, of course, she wants the hitters to be better than the pitchers. So we always weekly evaluate and see who did better that week. So it's fun having somebody on staff that is as competitive as I am in a good way. And then we have Coach Sanford, who's out there with us as well. He works with our power hitters and our outfielders. He's very enthusiastic. He's also a former human jukebox. So that connection that he has with the Jaguar Nation and getting our social media out and just kind of getting the word out about us, he's brought so many fans to our games and things like that. So we're excited about what we're doing together collectively as a staff.
Well, Coach Williams, I wish you guys much success as always because you represent Southern University. And for any of our listeners out there up in Monroe, the Warhawk Invitational, the Jaguars taking on Stephen F. Austin today at 11 a.m. Get a chance to go up there and support Southern University softball. Get a chance to meet Coach Brittany Williams and the staff and the players. And guess what? More importantly, they in the state of Louisiana. So with them being not having to leave the borders of the state, they need support because I know we got the Jaguars up there, the Jaguar Nation all across the state, and I'm sure we have them right there in Monroe. So they need you today at 11 o'clock and at 1:30. You guys also play tomorrow at 12:30 against Houston Christian, and you close out that series, that invitational, on Sunday at 3 o'clock against ULM. Anything else out there, Coach, that you want to let the public know about yourself and this team?
Yes. So off the field, we have two girls that will be on billboards. So when you're driving around Louisiana, I have one in Prairieville. She's on a sign encouraging people to not vape. Kira Miracle Tilford, she's out there. And then we got one of Southern's first female athletes. She signed to the G team, so she'll be on the Gordon billboard. So we're proud of them. I support them in everything that they do, especially the business aspect of the sport. So if you see them, give them a honk on the billboard.
I will give them a honk on the billboard just because Coach Williams told me to. And, Coach, most importantly, thank you for all that you do with these young ladies, especially bringing them so far. You say more than 50% of your roster is from California. That's a long way from home. I know sometimes they can get homesick and all type of other things, but to be the coach to make sure they're comfortable here at Southern University and then getting them on track to be successful in life, not only on the diamond but off of it. Appreciate you and all that you do as well as your staff, Coach, and good luck to you guys up there, or should I say you ladies up there in Monroe, Louisiana this weekend.
Yes, let's go Jags.
Let's go Jags. That's the voice of Coach Brittany Williams. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get ready to take a break, everybody. That was the voice of Coach Brittany Williams, Southern University head softball coach. Now, as we take a break, we'll come back on the other side and continue to show. You guys stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
All right, we're back. Good morning to everybody. It is the Jaguar Journal. Glad to have you guys with us. And as we continue to keep this show rocking and rolling, and everybody listening out there on 107.3 FM, good morning across the Baton Rouge capital city area and around on YouTube and Facebook, listening all across the country. I want to welcome to the show this morning Matthew Valera. He is the president of the SU Hardwood Club. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Perry. How you doing today?
Good, good. I got to make sure I get that right. The hardwood, because I'm thinking about hardware. That's championships, and we're hoping that Southern University men and women basketball teams can bring home championships. But, you know, you being with the Hardwood Club, first of all, just give us an introduction, Matt, about what the Hardwood does and its mission.
Well, the overall mission is to support SU athletics across the board. Our main focus is basketball, but we support all of the 14 sports of the men's and women's at SU athletics. So we've been able to raise about $450,000 over the last 5 years for athletics, and have helped the football team, the soccer team, the bowling team. So try to do our part to bring some of that hardware back to the Bluff.
You see what I'm saying? Why that could be such a tongue cut. We like hardware on Southern University. We used to say Southern, the SWAC stood for Southern Wins Another Championship, right?
I think we're bringing that back to reality, Terry.
I love the fact that we want to bring that back. All right, man, let's talk about the club itself, how it got started, and just the involvement of those alums and givers and boosters that want to be a part of it and that are a part of it.
It got started by two individuals, DeJuan Jordan and Mr. J.J. Campbell, who are no longer with us. But it started with about 4 individuals just fundraising and really assisting the athletic director and basketball coach back in about 2010. And we really reinvigorated ourselves in about 19 and sat down with athletic director Roman Banks on his vision for what he wanted the Hardwood Club to look at. So we've been able to come in and assist with some chairs, courtside seats we've been able to bring in. We also help with that digital scoreboard you see for the basketball game. So our overall goal is to help with the vision of bringing some life into the mini dome and ensuring that the fans have an excellent experience when they come out to watch both the men and women play.
Now, you talk about those seats. I've had an opportunity to be down there and see you guys, man. Those seats have been packed for the games. They have brought, you've seen the mayor at the games. You've seen last week, I saw you guys have the LSU president down there, you know, so it is attracting people and changing the experience that you have for a Southern University basketball game. And then you're right there. And as Coach Johnson tells me all the time, we need people to give those referees hell. Y'all down there giving those referees hell, Matt?
We doing our part, Perry. So we get a few calls here and there. And I just want to give a shout out to, we have a 18-member group of the Hardwood Club, and these individuals provide funding. We go out and we have an annual golf tournament that'll be in August of this year. A couple of raffles. So everybody does their part to really bring, much needed funding into the overall organization to help out with athletics.
Let me ask you this, Matt. I've seen you around, especially with athletics and your involvement. What made you in particular want to be involved with this club and spearhead this new era of how we support our college athletics?
It was, I guess, just sitting down with AD and then Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson brings so much energy. So, with a guy like that on the sidelines, you don't want to do anything but assist and help. So just trying to do my part. We do a lot in the community in my role at Care South. So in addition, being a proud alum of Southern, two-time graduate, want to just do my part to give back and make sure those athletes have the best experience that they possibly can while on campus.
And you talk about on the side of that, like you brought up Care South. Care South has been a proud partner in the past of Southern University Athletics. You guys were definitely there when this whole COVID outbreak happened within the community. And, you know, being right there hand in hand with Southern University, talk about that, what that partnership was like between Care South and Southern University. Then as well as Care South is continuously growing within the Baton Rouge and surrounding area communities.
Yeah, so during COVID, we were able to assist athletics and the university as a whole. You know, each weekend, the away teams and the home teams had to get COVID tested. So we were able to provide those tests for those visiting student athletes for both the men's and women's teams during basketball season. In addition, we also put a clinic on campus that provided COVID testing, COVID vaccine, primary care services for the Southern University students, staff, as well as the faculty. We're growing by leaps and bounds. We recently broke ground on a 35,000 square foot geriatric facility that we're going to be building. It's going to be located at 749 Scenic Highway. In addition to last month, we opened up a dermatology clinic out in Zachary on Old Scenic Highway. So trying to bring much needed services to Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas.
Let me ask you this, you know, for anybody that's out there that's listening and say, you know what, the Hardwood Club, maybe I didn't know about them. Is the Hardwood Club, what's the criteria for people to be a part of it? And is it open for anybody to be a part of it?
The Hardwood Club is exclusive. We have 18 members. We're looking to get up to 25 members. It's annual dues of $2,000 a year, and with those dues comes some perks. You get those sideline seats for basketball. We also get some S-Club tickets for football. So these individuals are, if they're not Southern alum, they have a love for Southern and want to support the university as well as athletics. So a love for Southern is all you need, and a little bit of your treasure coming back to the university to support things such as scholarships for those student athletes. We'll provide some scholarships when those students need just an extra bit of money when it gets kind of tight on them to make sure that they're getting that education.
Hey, I've been there before. You know, you walking into that office and they looking at you like, what's wrong? Yeah, I need some money to clear this balance out. Well, how much do you owe? Maybe about $1,700, $1,800. And they like, well, why did you wait to the last minute? I don't know. I thought some things was going to work out, but it's good. You been there before, or was that just me?
I've been there before, Terry.
I can tell you all the time. She say don't bring her name up, but Miss Rutledge over at the alumni house, listen, I walked in and listen, what you want? And it's like, Miss Rutledge, you know why I'm here. I need some assistance. I need some help. But she does a great job at helping students and everybody else. But, man, listen, most importantly, I think it's just great to be able to have you guys there. Now, let me ask, because you guys do help with scholarship, in any way do you guys work alongside athletics with any type of NIL deals or anything like that towards compensation of student athletes?
Yeah, we actually have this year have two student athletes that are on NIL for the basketball team.
So that's the big thing, you know, because as I constantly have conversations with the coaches, you know, a lot of times as we talk about it in the mainstream media, we talk a lot about the football, right? About how the transfer portal and the NIL affects how you keep players and how you bring in players. And then, you know, talking with Coach Funches and talking with Coach Johnson, we do understand there is a world that when you go out and recruit students these days, it's not the days of like Nick Saban walking in with the championship rings and saying, hey, you too can have one. They're not really messed up about the championships anymore. As the young folks say, they worried about the bag. They trying to secure the bag. And what's funny, man, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
You know, they're trying to get the bag, but at the same time, we want to provide an education for them that life goes on beyond that, and it's how you manage the bag once you do get it. But we do understand on our level, we do not have the resources to be able to drop back up the Brinks truck and give it to that student or their family, but to be able to fit within the world that we can fit in, and that's like what they say, that's making do with what we have. How does the Hardwood Club make do with what they have in order to see success across the board for Southern athletics?
Well, one thing we know how to do is stretch a dollar. So we look at those opportunities for those athletes, and beyond just the bag, just building that camaraderie with them, show them that they're wanted. Everybody, definitely wants to be wanted, and with the type of seasons that we have in this year on both the men's and women's side, we know that we're going to have some of these mid-majors that's going to be coming after these players. So we want to be proactive and show these players that, look, we want you here at Southern University. We treat them that way all season long and in the off season. So I think if you provide them with that nurturing environment that Southern is known for, that we won't have too many folks trying to jump into the portal or chasing a bag that doesn't exist on the campus currently.
Let me ask you this. What's moving forward, what's next for the Hardwood Club in 2025?
Well, we have our golf tournament. That's going to be August 11th at University Club. That tournament usually brings in about a little over $100,000 in profit. And we also going to be looking at potentially raffling off a car during Bayou Classic. So just some fundraisers that looking to bring in a little over $300,000 this year, so we can be competitive in that NIL space if needed, and go get those student athletes on the basketball side that we need to continue to compete for these championships. It's exciting right now. We have a big one today out in North Louisiana against Grambling State. So I'll be there rooting on the Jags.
Who you say?
GS who?
Oh, that's okay. All right. Now, at least I know the Hardwood Club got a little with it. Okay, it ain't all just sitting professional and nice looking. You got to have a little pettiness with it too, now, Matt.
Plenty petty. We know how to be petty.
That's what I like about it, man. Look, Matthew Valera, I appreciate you, man. Any information out there for anybody? I know you guys are an exclusive club, but any information out there for if people want to hear more, do more, try to be involved? Any information out there for them?
Yeah, we have a website, suhardwoodclub.com. We'll be uploading our information for the golf tournament in the coming weeks, as well as sharing some of the things that we've been able to do for athletics at Southern University.
Matt, man, I appreciate you for coming on today, man. Don't be a stranger here to the show. I know you do a lot for Southern athletics, man. Try to figure out some type of partnership with you and us here with the Jaguar Journal. Continue to keep this thing going, because I like the mission of what you're talking about. Not only the scholarships, but the NIL side of it, and supporting our student athletes in our athletics. That's what matters. And I tell people all the time, I see on social media, we get on there, we fuss and fight about this and that, but at the end of the day, it's about where you put your money. It's about where you put your money, and put your money where your mouth is. We can always go on social media and rate and rant about X, Y, and Z, but until you step up and you put your money there, that's what really matters, because at the end of the day, as we know in college athletics, that's where the change occurs. So, Matt, thank you for coming on this morning, talking to us about the Hardwood Club, man, and appreciate everything that you do.
Well, thank you for having me, Perry, and then thank you for having such a platform with the Jaguar Journal that supports Jaguar athletics as well as Southern as a whole. So appreciate you for that.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get ready to take a break. Thank you, Matt. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. You guys stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket. And his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down in 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I'm Perry White. Everybody listening around 107.3 FM here in the Baton Rouge capital city area. And everybody listening across the country on our YouTube and Facebook. Good to have you guys with us as we continue the show. Just got through talking to Matthew Valere of the Hardwood Club. Now let's talk about the teams that benefit from the Hardwood Club. And one of the coaches is leading the team that is rocking and rolling right now. That's Coach Carlos Funches, Southern University head women's basketball coach. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Anytime,
well.
Good. Anytime to talk to you, man. I know. I told Mike when he got through, when he hung up and was talking to you, I said, man, that dude is cool as I don't know what, man. That's a good guy right there, man. So I appreciate you. Busy schedule this week, but making time to come on and talk to myself as well as the Jaguar Nation and the haters. There's some haters out there too, Coach, you know. And I saw some of those haters when we played Texas Southern last week because they tried to bring a group of people in and say, hey, we're not going to just let you guys have home court advantage. But as we get ready to rock and roll last week on Thursday in a tough game, you guys took on at the time undefeated Texas Southern. They came into the F.G. Clark Activity Center 10-0. And guess what? They walked out 10-1, 63-53. Southern University women's basketball get the victory. And as I'm listening to their announcer on the sideline, I'm talking a little noise, and he's telling their fans on air, well, it's nothing to drop confetti about. I said, all right. Whatever the case may be, that sounds like something losers would say, because if I had won, we're dropping confetti, right? And then and then on Saturday, you take on Prairie View, Sandy Pugh, your former boss, former coach here at Southern. You get a big one over her, 86-42. But let's look at that recap of the weekend. 63-53 over Texas Southern and 86-42 over Prairie View. Coach, what did you learn about your team holding it down at home and, most importantly, handing Texas Southern their first loss and being able to fight for that first place spot in the SWAC?
Well, you just said it right there, just fighting for that first place spot. You had to get a victory. So the girls came out, they delivered. They were solid defensively. We made enough plays on the offensive side of the basketball to get a win. You know, that's been our biggest Achilles heel, is just scoring consistently. And, you know, that's something we've been working on. We've been getting good shots. We're executing a lot better. But we just got to knock down some of those shots. And defensively, we've been pretty solid the entire season. So, you know, we just continue to build on those things.
Let's look at the SWAC women's standings right now, started at the bottom for our listeners out there. UAPB, the Golden Lions, 1-13 in conference play. They're 11 games out of first place. Mississippi Valley at 3-11, 9 games out of first place. Both Alabama State and Prairie View, 8 games out of first place with a conference record of 4-10. You look at Florida A&M, 7 games out of first place at 5-9. Bethune-Cookman 6-8 on the season in conference play thus far, 6 games out of first place. Alcorn State, who came in and snuck one on us, Coach, 6-7 on the season. They're 5.5 games out of first place. Today's opponent, the Grambling State Tigers, 8-5 on the women's side, 3.5 games out of first place. And then you got a couple teams when they start to get, as they say, the thicker things. You got a victory on the road against Coach Dunn Thornton, whose team at Alabama A&M is 11-3 in conference play. They're 1 game out of first place. And then you and Jackson State both tied at 11-2, half a game out of first place. And then Texas Southern, because they have 1 more win than everybody, currently at 12-2. But things are heating up between A&M, Jackson State, Southern, and Texas Southern. But you can't count everybody else down because, as I said, Alcorn snuck us with 1. And Grambling is still a tough team because they got a victory over Texas Southern on Saturday last week.
Well, I mean, each and every night, your opponent going to bring different things that they do very well that you have to be able to negate. So that's the stuff we work on, just being solid, both at home and on the road, and being consistent. One thing about Grambling, they're going to rebound that basketball, so we're going to have to do a good job boxing out and hitting those boards today and hopefully knock down a few shots and be solid again defensively. But everybody's jockeying for position right now. Anybody can beat you any given night, so you have to be ready to play.
In that first game, Southern and Grambling here in Baton Rouge, you guys get the victory 59-53 in a tough one. You shot 23 of 59 for 39%, 5 of 12 from the three-point line, shooting 41%, and 8 of 14 from the free throw line, shooting 57%. On the other side for Grambling, they shot 20 of 52 for 38%. They were 1 of 8 from the three-point line, shooting 12%, and 12 of 19 from the free throw line, shooting 63%. As your team now on the backside, now having to go on the road, and we know that's a hostile environment, what do you want to see your team improve on this second half or this back end of the season, Coach?
Well, just come out and stay consistent defensively. That's first of all. Rebounding the basketball. We're going to have to do a better job of rebounding and knocking down open shots. I think we're doing a better job executing on both ends of the court, especially offensively, and getting some good looks. And we know what we're looking for. We're not just running plays. So, we just need to continue to improve each and every game and hopefully be hot by the time we hit that tournament.
Young ladies who are surprising you thus far in the season, somebody who may have stepped up and you like, look, all right, I didn't see this one coming, but you balling.
Jocelyn Tate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't say I didn't see it coming because I knew she was going to be a really, really good player. And Sanaya Reed, she's been very consistent coming down the stretch, giving us some point production coming off the bench. Sky Castro, it doesn't show on the stat sheet every night, but defensively, she's been one of the better players in this league. And she knows what she's doing, and she's an anchor defensively for us. Tiana Lidge has been doing a good job guarding her position and rebounding the basketball. So, we've been having some pretty consistent play down this back stretch.
Exciting, too. I enjoyed that game against Texas Southern. I really did, man. That was exciting. And that's the level of basketball. That's high-energy basketball. That's what you look for when they move the games to a Thursday night, that type of matchup, Southern versus Texas Southern with a lot on the line. And that's what excited me about that. There's going to be a lot on the line today, pride and so much more against Grambling. What do you see about Grambling this second time around?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the depth. They have quality depth. I mean, they can go 12 deep, and it's not a big drop-off when they go to the bench. And they're going to play hard. They're going to be well coached on both sides of the basketball, and they're going to come to play. They play extremely hard, and like you say, this is a game you can throw the records out the window and everything else. It's going to be a battle. It's a battle for pride.
Battle for pride. Coach Funches, man, I appreciate you for taking the time, coming on, talking to us as we continue to keep up with you this season and the team, man. This is tremendous what you guys are doing right there, knocking on the door of first place. Overall, the Jaguars in North Louisiana today, Southern men and women basketball at Grambling, Southern softball over at Monroe at ULM. Coach, thank you for coming on. Good luck to you guys and beat those Tigers.
Fair, we appreciate it as usual, and go Jags.
Go Jags. That's the voice of Coach Carlos Funches, Southern University head women's basketball coach. Let's get ready to take a break, and we'll come back on the other side at the top of the hour We're going to talk men's basketball as they're hot and rolling at the moment. So let's get ready to take a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned more to Jaguar Journal.
Quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up. Kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown and makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference, Lionel Hayes from Grambling, your top passer. Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff,
and the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And it's a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyan will finally drag him down. But we start the fourth right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1-yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
On driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of bounds at the 10-yard line. An I formation. Oh! Fumble Levy! He kicks it and falls on top of it.
Touchdown. Receiver that has not seen much action comes up big.
1st and 10. Washington over the middle, intercepted! On his own play of the game is Michael Hayes with 8 receptions, 266.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody as we keep things rocking and rolling. I want to thank Coach Carlos Funches coming on talking about the women playing Grambling today, but also, both men and women on Saturdays travel and rolled it together representing Southern University. So we know the men are going to have a tough one as Southern University men taking on Grambling State today. Tip-off is going to be at 4:30. And nobody better to talk about Southern men's basketball than the head captain himself, the head coach. Want to welcome him to the show. My man, Coach Kevin Johnson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning, Perry. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. I like the energy. You been up all night?
You know what, man? This has been ingrained in me since I can go back to my college days. Coach Kruger used to tell us all the time, there is no place better to be on a Saturday than in the gym. And so, man, I look forward to Saturday mornings, wide-eyed, bushy tail, what little bush I have left, and it's game day, baby.
It's game day, baby, against Grambling State as our in-state rivals. And as we know, it's always a tough one as it was the first time. But let's look back at last week as you guys took on Prairie View and Texas Southern. You got a 72-60 victory over Prairie View on Saturday, and then on Monday, a tough one. They brought some fans with them as well and tried to make it a little tough, but nonetheless, you guys held it down. Southern getting the victory over Texas Southern, and I can't tell you, Coach, I was trying to go back and look and think about it, but just off the top of my head, I can't remember the last time the Jaguars swept Texas Southern in the regular season. Do you know the answer to that?
You know what, Perry? I'm in a fog. There's only one game I can see, and that's the one at 4:30 today. But it'd be good to call either Willie Scott or Rodney Kirshner. I know they have the answer to that one.
I know they have it. And 66-57 was the victory on Monday. The Jaguars shoot 20 of 47, shooting 42% in that ball game. 5 of 17 from the three-point line, shooting 29%. 21 of 31 from the free throw line, shooting 67% on the other side. The Tigers of Texas Southern, 19 of 56, shooting for 33% in that ball game. 2 of 17 from the three-point line, shooting 11%. They were 17 of 23 from the free throw line, shooting 73%. Thus far into the season, Coach, what are you learning about this team as you guys continue to will out victories, right? You get those victories, you held down home court, but what do you see about this team in terms of what you can improve on?
Well, there's a lot of areas to improve on, and we talk about improvement every day. And I think we can get better with our press offense. I think we can get better with our half-court offense. I think we can get better at the free throw line. There's a lot of areas that we can get better in, and we're working on those. But the thing that I'm proud of the most is that, we dropped the ball game at Alabama State because our transition defense was bad and our half-court defense was bad. Our guys have been able to refocus, and we defended Prairie View. And even in a ball game where we didn't handle the ball well against Texas Southern, we hold them to 33% from the field. That's almost unheard of. And so I told our guys, I said, look, the one thing you can count on is your defense, even when your offense is not there. And so that's kind of how we finished last week. But I tell you what, Perry, I'd love for both sides of the ball to fall into place today at 4:30.
You talked about, some of those things to work on, free throws. How does one continue to improve as the season go on, even from the free throw shooting perspective when you're talking about practicing?
We get a lot of reps, but also, we have to focus on technique, spreading your fingers over the ball, 1 second follow through, taking a deep breath, being relaxed at the line. And when we shoot free throws in practice, we try to add a little element of pressure. If you miss a free throw, we're going to run. Sometimes the whole team runs. And, our guys are really working at it, but that's an area where I feel like we can improve and going to improve.
Let's look at today's opponent, Grambling State. That last time, hey, that was one of the best basketball games I have ever attended. The last time Southern and Grambling took on each other, and anybody who was in the F.G. Clark Activity Center knew within that last minute of the game, it was electric. The energy was there. Grambling's coach get ejected out of the game. A couple things happened at the end of the game where that thing just it blew open. But nonetheless, Grambling made it a game at the end. They battled back. They knocked down a 3. They got the game back within reach. But it was their discipline on the sideline from the head coach and everybody else that ultimately took that game away from them. Southern gets the victory 67-60 and an electric crowd. You better believe, Coach, they're going to try to repay that type of atmosphere back up at Grambling, Louisiana today, knowing the Jaguars come in. But in that game, you guys shot 24 of 55, shooting 43% in that ball game. You were 5 of 18 from the three-point line, shooting 27%, and 14 of 22 from the free throw line, shooting 63%. On the other side for Grambling in that game one, they were 19 of 49, shooting 38% around the field, 4 of 15 from the three-point line, shooting 26%, and 18 of 21 from the free throw line, shooting 85%. A hell of a ball game. It was discipline that cost them the game, but nonetheless, it was tough, Coach. Another one is going to be, again, tough today on the road for you guys. What do you see for your team in this second go-around with Grambling?
I see the same thing that's going on all over the country. If you watch these conference games, they're all close. You watch the SEC games, the top team in the country struggles to beat one of the bottom feeders in the SEC. That's what happens this time of year. And so I don't expect anything different today. And it should be a tough ball game, but our guys will be ready.
And I'm enjoying being able to talk to you throughout this season because one thing about it, a lot of times we don't get a chance to have conversations with coaches, especially during the success that they're having in the season. This has been a true treat and a joy for me to be able to have these conversations because you and I talked during non-conference. We had that conversation about how tough non-conference can be, going on the road all over the place, changing time zones, seeing offense and defensive plays that you're probably not going to see every night or every weekend in the SWAC, but that has seemed to get your team prepared and tough as you guys also pulled out 2 non-conference victories against a team like Tulsa and a team like Louisiana Tech, who is not playing pretty bad at this point. What have you learned from non-conference into conference that has seemed to find success for you and this team thus far?
You know what? I think the things we preach, defense, toughness, togetherness, there's no way you come through that and get to this point without those. And I really feel like our guys care about each other. I enjoy watching them on the road, in the hotels, because they're together. We had a team meal last night, and we offered those guys the option. They could take their food to the rooms or they could stay in our meeting room. Do you know that our entire team stayed in the meeting room? And normally when I would go upstairs and start watching film, I said, I'm going to just hang out with them. And, man, it's just good to see that. And so I love seeing that when these young men enjoy each other like that.
You got something special because I can recall I talked about it with you last time as you spoke with me last year about creating the culture, getting the right fit, but most importantly, getting guys to buy into what it is that you're preaching and teaching to them. It seems to be working. Let's look at some SWAC standings as we work our way all the way up to the top. We'll start at the bottom. 2 teams at the bottom tied together, 1-12 in conference play. That's UAPB, the Golden Lions up there in Pine Bluff, and the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley. They're both 11 games out of first place with 1-2 records in conference play. Right above them, you're looking at Prairie View, 9 games out of first place at 3-10 in conference play. Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs, 7 games out of first place at 5-8. Grambling, today's opponent, underachieving this year on the season, but still nonetheless cannot get taken lightly. They're 6-7 on the season, 6 games out of first place in the SWAC standings. Right above them, Alabama State, the team that snuck us by 1 point on the road. They're 8-5 along with Alcorn State. Both those teams 4 games out of first place along with Texas Southern. Sitting all 3 of them sitting there at 8-5. Matter of fact, let's add one more. Bethune-Cookman, I continuously talk about Reggie Theus and his team. You can never count them out. At any given night, they can get you. All of those teams are 4 games out. Then you look at the next 2 teams, Florida A&M and Jackson State. Surpriser, let me circle Florida A&M. Did not see this one coming. Is when they hired that head coach last year, signed him to a 1-year deal. A lot of FAMU fans were not really hyped about the hire, but he has them playing some damn good basketball right now. 9-4 with Jackson State. Both teams 3 games out of first place, and then the team at the top, 12-1. Your Southern University Jaguars, and with the best record in conference, 17-9 overall on the season. Coach, you talking about the rest of this conference. SWAC basketball this year on the men's side seem to have really ramped up with so many teams right there knocking at the door that at any given time, as you said before, can beat anybody any given night.
And Perry, I said it last year, this is a mid-major basketball league. I don't care what the writers say. You look at the quality of coaching in this league, the quality of the players. We've got guys in this league that can play in a lot of leagues that the writers might say are high-level leagues. And so, I love the competitiveness and the battles we have on a nightly basis. And we deserve a lot more credit for what we're doing in the SWAC. And that's to a T, from top to bottom.
Looking at your teams thus far, man, just talk to me about players that have stepped up big in your opinion. And then really most of all, it's been your bench that has really done the job. But you said it last time on the show. Who's the starter? Everybody feel like they the starter on this team.
I don't know who the starters are. We try to give everybody an opportunity and do some platoon-type substitutions. And then in the second half, it usually gets down to who's playing the best.
The last 10 games for Grambling State, they're 6-4, averaging 66 points a game, 30 rebounds, 10 assists, 7 steals, 2 blocks, while shooting 42% from the field, holding their opponents typically to an average of 63 points a game. On the other side, from the last 10 games for the Jaguars, you guys are 9-1, averaging 74 points a game, 36 rebounds a game, 13 assists, 9 steals, 5 blocks, while shooting 43% from the field. Looking at this matchup, it's going to be a hell of one, Coach. All I can say, I know they're going to try to repay the favor as what we did to them. I'm just going to say, Coach, as much as we like to give the refs hell, keep you cool today, Coach. You do your woosahs. You know what? You do your stumping and your arm folding, but watch yourself. They're going to try to get you out of character up there at Grambling.
Well, everything starts with my game day routine, and if I get that exercise in today, we'll be fine.
Yeah, just go ahead and get it out early, huh?
That's right.
Well, good luck to you guys, Coach. North Louisiana, the Jaguars are their Southern men and women over at Grambling State today in men and women basketball. Softball over in Monroe at the Warhawk Invitational on the campus of ULM. So the Jaguars are active in North Louisiana. Coach, man, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming on this morning. Continue the good work and beat those Tigers today.
Always a pleasure, Perry. Go Jags.
Go Jags. That's the voice of Coach Kevin Johnson. He is the head men's basketball coach at Southern University. Let's get ready to take a break, and we come back on the other side. We'll transition, talk some baseball. Andre Dawson Classic down in Vero Beach, Florida, taking place. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And, Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help, only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown.
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
We are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there listening on 107.3 around the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching and listening all across the country on our YouTube and Facebook. Good to have you guys with us. I am Perry White, and as we get transitioning from basketball, let's talk some baseball. And this guy right here is one of my favorite coaches and has been one of my favorite coaches for some time since he stepped foot on the campus of Southern University. But he's now moved on, and he right now is the head coach at the University of Missouri. He is their head baseball coach. Want to welcome him to the show. My man, Coach Carrick Jackson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, man. What's going on with you?
Man, everything's good, man. Great to have you on. And listen, talking about Black history, right? Your name will forever go down in Black history as you're now the head baseball coach at the University of Missouri. You're the only Black baseball coach in the Southeastern Athletic Conference, Southeastern Conference, the SEC. But most importantly, when you look at what you have done, you are a trailblazer, paving the way for the future of African Americans in the game of baseball, particularly on the collegiate side, man. First of all, I want to give you your roses and say congratulations for all that you do, and thank you for all that you did for right here at Southern University. And for those who don't know, Coach Jackson was the head baseball coach at Southern, took over for the program when Coach Roger Kadar stepped aside in his first season. The Jaguars went 9-33. They were 6-15 in conference play. And then in 2019, he had the biggest turnaround in college baseball that year, taking the Jags 32-24 overall, 17-6, winning the conference and taking them up to Mississippi State in that regional, and coached for 7 innings, had that place quiet. If it wasn't for an error, we probably would have got out of there. But nonetheless, your success meant something for Southern baseball, and that success ultimately has carried you all the way up to the University of Missouri. So, man, appreciate you, and thank you for all that you do. I just wanted to tell you that first and foremost.
No, I appreciate it.
Then you go over to the University of Memphis. You were the first African-American coach over at Memphis, and then you transition over to Missouri. Year 1, 23-32. A tough conference, perhaps the best baseball conference in the nation. But nonetheless, now we transition. The Andre Dawson Classic down in Vero Beach, Florida, over at the Jackie Robertson facility. Some big-time baseball for HBCUs. But why I thought it would be great to talk to you, because teams participating: Alabama A&M, Prairie View, Jackson State, Southern, Alabama State, Grambling, Florida A&M, and then all of a sudden the University of Missouri right there in the coach. Talk to us, first of all, about why bring your team down to the Andre Dawson Classic and the significance of that.
You know what? I just obviously playing in the tournament when I was at Southern, I love everything that it represents. As you well know, I'm big about promoting us in the game. And so this was an opportunity to bring the current team that I have down here and give them that experience. And it was also an opportunity, you know, when we played in this and I was at Southern, I understood and appreciated the idea that they were doing it for HBCUs, but I also thought it needed to be expanded, because I think what it does for the HBCU schools that are in this tournament, it gives them an opportunity to tell the kids that they're recruiting, look at the teams that we're going to play against and in the environments that we're going to play them. And so recruiting is everything. And so if you have an attractive schedule and a product and opportunities for kids, that makes your place look a little bit better.
Tough game yesterday against Florida A&M. You guys squeak out of there 6-5. Talk about that ball game against Florida A&M and what you saw from your team.
Yeah, you know what? We're at this point where we're still trying to find our identity. And, you know, we had a rough start to our first game of the year. And then the next night we come out against the Big East pitcher of the year. It was really good, 92-94, and we put up 11 runs. And then we come out last night and face some guys that were decent arms, but we had way too many strikeouts. And so we're still in this space of getting our guys to find their identity and getting them not to be so caught up on what the result is. You know, I'm big on the idea of focus on the process and executing the process. And, you know, you watched at Southern, that's what our turnaround from year one to year two was that our guys understood how to play the game, and they understood that with their level of ability and athleticism, and now you match that with skill, you can own the game. And our guys here, we have a high level of ability, but our skill level isn't where it needs to be. And so we're still growing and developing their mindsets to get them to understand that.
Hey, we lost you here at Southern, Coach, because, man, listen, I have always been a fan of yours and watching you work and having conversations. I can remember just sitting in the barbershop in the Union, you and I having conversations and talking, man. It's great to see where you at. And Southern yesterday falls short to Jackson State, but then you guys move on today at 3 o'clock. You're going to take on Alabama State. Southern to take on Florida A&M, who you guys took on at University of Missouri yesterday. And then the big game tomorrow, 9 a.m. first thing. You're going to get a chance to take on your old team, the Southern Jaguars, and your boy, Coach Chris Crenshaw, man. What is going to, the emotions going to be rolling in that one, or it's just like, we got to go out and win a game, fellas?
At the end of the day, yes, you got to win a game, but, you know, the relationship that Crenshaw and I have, and when they put us on the schedule, I was hoping that they weren't going to. I understood why they did, but I was hoping that they weren't going to end up doing that. But yeah, no, that's the other part about this thing. It's a business, and we're in the business of people first, but it's also a baseball. There's baseball aspect to that, and so we got to win games and go out, and you know, he's gonna always be my boy. That's always gonna be a place that I admire and have a special love for, as it was my first head job, and the things that we're able to do there. You know, the goal when I went back there was to get the program back on the map, and get them back into a position where they were winning championships and playing for championships on a regular basis. And I think in the short time that we were there, we were able to get that accomplished. And so I look and admire that place for all that it is, and all that it did for me in the time that I was there.
Coach, you know, we don't often get a chance to get a perspective, and I want this perspective from you because now you're in the SEC, the best baseball conference in the nation collegiately, coming from the SWAC, a place that we understand with the low resources and just trying to just get things done. If it's nothing more than getting clipboard and papers, just trying to get it done, to now being where the resources are. What for you is the biggest difference? Because you get to speak from a unique perspective from both sides, to have witnessed it and been there, and being the first black coach in the SEC the way that you are. What do you see that this the major difference from that elite league to where we are here in the SWAC, where we typically deal with the low resources?
So I think it's just that, right? I think it is the resources, but I also think that at Missouri we're in a unique position. You know, we are the Oakland A's of the SEC. Our budget isn't as big as everybody else's. We're the farthest team north in the league. We don't have the nicest stadium. We don't have a huge, 7-figure NIL budget like everybody else does in our league. And so I think that's what makes this job unique. It's still a challenge. And so similar to the job at Southern, you know, when I first got there, we didn't have Pete. And so building the program up and getting it to a place where we needed to have the things necessary to help us develop players. I'm in the same situation here at Missouri. We need to have things that are necessary to help us develop players, because we're never going to be the shiniest program on the block in this conference. And so when you talk about that adjustment, it is having a bigger budget. I have a larger staff here. I have a staff of 10. At Southern, it was me and 2 other assistant coaches, and getting people to volunteer and help out, and getting people to do those types of things. And here it's a similar fashion, but it's just on a different scale, if you will, of going out and getting people to invest in the program to get us up to where we need to be where we can be in a competitive space with the rest of the league. So there's some similarities based on perspective, but there are some vast differences when it does come to resources and budget.
I am curious, as you talked about NIL, especially in the league that you're in, the SEC, where it is competitive to get players. What does NIL look like on that level, and how do you go out and to be able to attract players? Because I talked about it before. They're looking for the bag, but what does that look like on the collegiate level at the highest level within that conference?
Yeah, it's one of those deals. It is where we are, right? And based on that, you live in that space. But as I told you, I mean, when it comes to other teams in our league, our budget fails in comparison to where they are. And there's part of that I'm okay with, right? Like for me, I want to build it and develop it from within. As we all know, though, at this level, winning is everything. And if you don't win, then they're going to go get somebody else. And so for me, it's do we have the opportunity and time to build it the way that we want to build it? Because once we get it going, we know we're never going backwards. But in this place where everything is looked at and scrutinized, the time starts to tick on you a little bit. And so we do use the portal, but we can't get in there and go fishing for the big fish like everybody else. We have to get the guys that fit what it is that we're looking to do. And again, like I said, I'm comfortable with the idea of that. And because once we get it going, then it's going to just kind of have that momentum and continue to roll.
And being at an event like the Andre Dawson Invitational down in Vero Beach, it's a good time. And I want to know from you, because you know the HBCU landscape, how do you then bring that knowledge and that history to your players up at Mizzou who may not know what an HBCU is or never even heard of HBCUs?
Well, you know what? I think the fact that when they look at my past and my resume, not only coaching there but also playing at an HBCU, they start to get some insight on that because I talk about those experiences. I talk about being at Bethune-Cookman and being on the first team in the history of the program to win a conference championship. And now that's one of the top HBCU programs in the country. I talk about my experience at Southern and that year and the transition of going from 9 wins to 32 wins and beating LSU when they were ranked 8th in the country and going into that regional at Mississippi State and doing it with kids that were desiring to be taught. Right now I got Hampton Hudson, who played for me on that team. He's here as a graduate assistant for me. I got Jose Caballo, who is my director of recruiting and operations, who played at Bethune-Cookman and coached at Bethune-Cookman and who's here on my staff. And so for me, it's just not the words of it. It is important that I stay true to who I am and the path that I took and continue to build and provide opportunities for others to get in this space and have an impact on what it is that we're doing.
For anybody out there that's listening, y'all see why I love this guy. We may not get a chance to talk often because I know he's a busy man, but this is the reason right here. Kerrick Jackson is just a phenomenal guy. It's what he means to not only the team, but the community. And most of all, what he means to us as our people by providing opportunities, opening the door, and bringing success. Coach, man, I appreciate you coming on this morning. I know you guys got a game to get ready for, but just to take the time out your busy schedule along with a weekend that I know you're going to have a host of games taking on Southern tomorrow at early in the morning. Man, but most of all, I just appreciate you for coming on, man, and thank you for all that you continue to do. As I say, as history, you are our history. You are somebody that we'll always read about and look to. And, man, I appreciate everything that you're doing, Coach.
No, I appreciate you not forgetting about me after I was gone. So anytime I can do anything to help out, I'm definitely willing to do it.
Man, I can't forget about you, dog. Too many conversations, man. Too much honest conversations about things, man. You are a person that you can sit down with, and I tell people all the time, it's not always about being politically correct. It's about just telling the truth. You are a person that I know that tells the truth, and you're completely honest about it. That was always, and that's still what I respect out of you, and why I've always enjoyed having a conversation, because you're going to tell it like it is, and most of all, it's your character. I see how you are as a father. I see how you are as a coach. You don't change. That's what you can identify a man by, how he carries himself each and every day. And that's what makes me a fan of yours, Coach.
No, I appreciate you, and I feel the same way about you.
Appreciate you, Coach, man. Good luck to you guys today. Now, I don't know about tomorrow. I'm a little indifferent. I'm a little indifferent, but I make sure I text Coach Crenshaw and say, man, send him back with a Southern shirt or something, man. Send an ad to the collection.
Definitely.
All right, thank you, Coach. That's the voice of Coach Carrick Jackson, the head baseball coach up at the University of Missouri. They're down at the Andre Dawson Classic this weekend. Let's get ready to take a break, guys. We'll come back on the inside. We'll talk HBCU Legacy Bowl down in New Orleans this weekend. The big game will be today, but there was a host of events for players from the HBCU football landscape to get a chance to showcase for the NFL this week. So we'll talk about that with my boy Blue. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
Really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there listening. I am Perry White. Everybody on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. Glad to have you guys and everybody listening and watching across the nation on our YouTube and Facebook. Glad to have you guys as we continue to keep things rolling. Look, football is still talked about amidst all this baseball, softball, and basketball because down in New Orleans, it is the HBCU Legacy Bowl that will be played today. And nobody better to talk about it than my man who's been down there all week. He is from FCS Football Central. Y'all know him. I know him. I call him Blue. I got it from my man Scotty, but his name is Zach McKennell. Zach, good morning, man.
Good morning, man. How you been?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. Been traveling, down in New Orleans all week. Got me some good seafood as always, and looking forward to today's game.
You got to make sure you eat good. Zach and I did a series throughout the season on Sundays basically recapping games around all the conference, black college, and whatever else. So, man, I can't wait to football season. This is a guy who, if you want to talk sports, he knows what he's talking about. This is a good guy right here. And as we're talking about sports, the HBCU Legacy Bowl today will be on the NFL Network. Kickoff is going to be 3 o'clock Central Standard Time down in Ullman Stadium on the campus of Tulane in New Orleans. So, along with that, I'm sure have you got caught up with any Mardi Gras parades?
I have not. Now, listen, I was late to practice because of the weather, because they moved it, because they were going between the Saints facility and Tulane, and then they had the interstate shut down trying to get the float downtown. So traffic was crazy one morning. So that's about as Mardi Gras as I got, man.
I bet you was like, what the hell is going on, right?
No, I'm from Mobile, so I get it.
Oh, okay. Mobile does do Mardi Gras. Now, that is always the back and forth. I'll say that conversation for another day in terms of the Mardi Gras. But listen, down in New Orleans, the HBCU Legacy Bowl, giving opportunity to HBCU football players from around the country, excuse me. But let's talk about Southern has a long snapper, as I always start at home. Talk to us about that Southern long snapper down there, man, how he's looking.
Yeah, he's been good, man. I actually talked to Braxton yesterday. I knew him from a while back, and he said he was excited for the opportunity, man. You know, the special teams, the SWAC kind of has the advantage, man. I mean, you got a kicker in James Lowry from Tennessee State who had a really good year. You got Matt Knoll, who was an FCS All-American out of Jackson, and then you got Braxton, who has been an all-SWAC contributor, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, we kind of talked yesterday. He said he felt good about his performance. He said he's got good feedback. He said the only thing is he feels like his guy Joshua Griffin got snubbed a little bit, that he should have been down here in New Orleans. But other than that, man, he said he's had a heck of a week, and he's feeling good for today.
Looking around, you're talking about Noel. Listen, I got a chance to see him plenty of times in person last year to kick it from anywhere on the field, man. Great guy right there. Anybody stood out to you this week? Because, you know, you go through the workouts, you have the NFL scouts, you got a lot of people looking at you. Anybody stood out where you was like, all right, I may not have saw this one coming?
Okay, so I'll split it between the teams. We'll start with Team Robinson, because I know that's the team everyone who listens to this show really wants to know about. Listen, man, I saw it coming, but Irv Mulligan has been everything as advertised. I don't think that surprises anybody. Probably been the best running back in attendance. I've really been impressed with Jamari Gassett, too, out of FAMU at wide receiver. He's had a really, really good week in one-on-ones, had a pretty good combine as well. Obviously, the two tight ends have actually had really good weeks. Now, Jeremiah Pruitt has probably worked himself into PFA consideration with his combine performance and his performance throughout the week. Truck Griffin out of Alcorn, I think it's a bit too small for tight end, but I could see him projected as like an H-back somewhere, Perry. But, you know, maybe not in the NFL, but he has that just dynamic athleticism in him where he can play everything. So I think H-back is where he would kind of go. Now, offensive line, Kurt Ford from Jackson's been the best guy here on Team Robinson, man. He's had pancakes. He's been physical. I like his punch. I think his side-to-side movement, his ability to handle speed and bull rush has really stuck out to me. So he'd probably be the top performer there. And then just in terms of other guys, Kendall Bowler and Robert McDaniel were the last two names I had in mind. Kendall had a great week in 101, killed the combine. And I would say this, I think Rob McDaniel is probably the top-rated prospect here, just because I don't know if he Terry, it's hard to teach his measurables, right? You don't get guys 6'2", 215 that run a 4.5 and have the vertical jump he does, that have the production that he does. He's one of the only guys in the HBCU draft class that checks all the boxes. And so I think those would be the guys I would mention. In terms of the other team, man, listen, Terry, you probably saw the tweets. It was the Elijah Williams show at a Morgan State, man. I mean, listen, it was the MEAG Defensive Player of the Year, so expectations were already high. But Perry, I counted myself. He pancaked 5 guys in one-on-one as a defensive lineman. And one of the pancakes came off a spin move, Perry. Do you know how hard it is to pancake someone off a spin move? And he just, I mean, Perry, after the first day, guys were scared of him. I'm so serious. I'm not even joking.
Who else wants some of this?
He was that good. He was Devo out there, and no one was standing up to him, man. So I'll say this: I'm not a D2 guy, Perry, but Isaac Anderson out of Virginia Union had a really good week. He kind of reminds me of a smaller guy. You remember a few years ago when Ronnie Thomas came out and had a good week down here?
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a little bit of like a Ronnie Thomas type, undersized, really quick, agile, athletic. But he hit a half spin move in one-on-one, and I'm talking about it was probably the most beautiful move I saw all week. I also think to Ahmad Nelson out of Tennessee State at linebacker, someone that has stuck out to me this week, and then also Jaleel Dean for Tennessee State at wide receiver had a really, really good week on one-on-ones, man. So those would probably be some of the guys that have stood out to me this week.
And, looking at you talking about from that wide receiver position, because there are some names that are familiar. You're talking about Davis of North Carolina Central. You're talking about Jaleel Dean at Tennessee State. Jamari Gass at Florida A&M. Casey Hawthorne, who I was a fan of at Howard. I mean, he can run it. He can catch it. I just don't know if they knew exactly how to truly use him. You're looking at Jaquez Jones, Norfolk State. Also, Shamar Savage from Prairie View. He was kind of quiet on the back end. What about Savage, looking at him? And then even from South Carolina State, Justin Smith-Brown, who was big time for South Carolina State this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, some of those guys had good weeks. Like Hawthorne, to me, out of all the guys you just named, had the best week of those guys. I think he was the best guy one-on-one. He showed his versatility, showed his quickness, showed his bend, athleticism, stuff like that. Listen, I get the hype around Davis right from Central. Perry, I mean, how do you teach what he has in terms of size and athleticism and running at, a 4.4 and all that at 6'5"? But what happened was he had this big combine performance, but he had a good first day of practice with Perry. I just don't know. And I'm just going to be honest. It's like I feel like as media and as guys who are trying to help promote these guys, we got to be honest with our feedback on these players. Like, the thing with Davis is, Perry, he's just so stiff in his routes, and he has some drop issues, and that kind of overshadows his combine performance, because it's great you can do all these things in the combine, but, Perry, we can't afford you to have drops. We can't afford to have bad routes.
Not at all.
And so to me, I know everyone's going to see the combine hype and be like, oh, he's going to get drafted, he's going to be this. But, Perry, the key for scouting is never let combine performances overshadow the film. Yep. Never let all-star one-on-one performance overshadow the film. You should use those tools to help confirm or make you go back and reevaluate the film. So nothing means more to me than the film in these guys. And so I would say Davis had a good week, but there's still some red flags coming out of his performance. But in terms of some of the other guys you mentioned, I thought Savage was okay. The thing with Savage is I wanted him to run a little bit better in the combine. I expected him to have a little bit better 40 than he had. And so for me, that's one thing I want to see if he can improve on in his pro day, because that's important, man. I mean, it's sad, but HBCU prospects, FCS prospects, man, we don't have, like, guys that come out of these types of schools don't have the leeway that a guy out of LSU has, right, Perry? Like, if a guy from LSU has a bad combine, they'll still look at the name on the logo on the helmet and be like, man, we can still take a chance on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think guys coming out of FCS, HBCU programs have that same ability to do that. So I would say that I want to see him improve on his 40, but he has all the other measurables, right? And that's important. I'm trying to look here for what his exact time was so I can give it to you. So I want to say around like a 4.6-ish. And so to me, if you're a top wide receiver in the draft, you got to give me better than a 4.6.
Blue, let me do this. Let me ask you this. I got about a minute before I got to go to break. The quarterback position is always one of those. Will we ever see a quarterback from this league? Of course, we saw Shedeur Sanders at Jackson State, who ultimately went on to Colorado. But other than that, I mean, it's been kind of tough for quarterbacks in this league to get the hype. You look at Miles Crawley coming from Grambling, Draylon Ellis coming from Tennessee State, Eric Phoenix of South Carolina State, and Daniel Richardson, to name some of those big-name guys that's over there from Florida A&M in about a minute. What have you seen from the quarterback position? I know those guys may be a little undersized, but anybody stand out in that area to you?
I think Crawley's probably been the best quarterback here, just in terms of measurables, throwing, accuracy, stuff like that. But the problem is we've seen it with Miles his whole career, man. Like 1 week, Miles looks like an all-pro. and then period, something happens and it's not there anymore. And so I would say that I would be cautious with this quarterback class. Crawley might have the measurables to get a shot somewhere, but you look at guys like Richardson and Traylon Ellis and things like that, and they're just so undersized that I just find it hard to see them getting an opportunity. But Richardson has been really, really good at 7-on-7 periods, man. I mean, really, really quick getting the ball out, great accuracy. So him and Crawley would be the two guys I would probably highlight there.
Well, Blue Man, my man Zach McKinnell, a.k.a. Blue FCS Football Central. Hey, man, appreciate you coming on this morning, Blue, giving us an update. Everybody out there, if you want to watch the HBCU Legacy Bowl, it will be today, 3 o'clock kickoff down at Human Stadium. It's going to be on the campus of Tulane on the NFL Network. Blue, appreciate you for coming on this morning, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Go to a parade, man. Get you some beads, eat some beignets, man. Enjoy yourself.
I got to wait to get back to the real Mardi Gras, man, down in Mobile. I'll be good with that.
Here we go. Thank you, Blue.
Yeah, appreciate you, guys.
All right, let's get ready to take a break, guys. We'll come back on the other side, get ready to close things out. Stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket. And his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass.
It's
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing, nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
The backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5 yards.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Everybody listening on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area, as well as on our YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to go hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Become a subscribe member today. It costs nothing. And be sure to go follow and like our Facebook page, as well as we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Type in simply the Jaguar Journal. On X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Instagram, we are the Jaguar Journal _N. On Facebook, type in the Jaguar Journal. Go follow and keep up with us across all of those social sites. It is with heavy heart that I have to announce this morning the passing safeties coach at Southern University, passed this week. Sean Wallace of pancreatic cancer. Coach Wallace was a integral part of Southern University football history. A native of New Orleans, Louisiana, he graduated from O. Perry Walker down in New Orleans Senior High School before coming to Southern University. He played under legendary Coach Pete Richardson. In Coach Richardson's first season, Wallace helped lead the Jaguars to the #1 defense in the country, on his way to both a 1993 SWAC championship as well as a Black College National Championship. During his time at Southern University, he was a 2-time All-SWAC player, along with being named SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. He was a Bayou Classic MVP, 2-time Sheridan Black College All-American, Walter Camp All-American, and Kodak All-American. He was also elected to the Southern University Football Hall of Fame in 2011. Sad news coming from Southern, seeing the news. Sean Strong, as we knew once it was put out there, the information that he was dealing with pancreatic cancer, but Sean Wallace passed away, age 52, safeties coach, Southern University. All right, let's go to the phone line real quick. We got CJ on the line. Good morning, CJ.
Hey, Perry, good. And look, man, glad you brought that up about Sean, but I got another sad note I'd like to bring to the Jaguar Nation, and that is Coach Teddy Brown, the McKinley High coach that took them to all the state championships. He's a Capital High grad, but he also was an All-American at Southern University back in 1957, 58, and 59, along with Butterbean Love. So, look, just want to say that. Thank you. Got a great show going on today. Keep up the good work, Perry, and I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Hey, thank you, CJ. Appreciate you. All right. Can I hear myself? Am I good? Okay. Man, sad story. You know, sad news with Coach Sean Wallace, man. I mean, when you saw him, man, he was, you knew his presence. I tell people all the time, when you go in that football facility, when you go in there, you know when he's talking. You hear him down the hall, the passion that he brought to the program, the passion that he brought to everyday life, and just who he was as a man. Hate to hear the news of his passing, and condolences out to his family and for the rest of us as we try to internalize this as the Jaguar Nation, those that remember Sean Wallace for the way that he was and who he was, passing away at the age of 52 due to pancreatic cancer. #Sean Strong. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I get ready to get out of here, remember Southern University men and women basketball up in North Louisiana taking on Grambling today. It's going to be a hell of a one. Southern men in first place in basketball. Southern's women in second place, a half a game out of first place on the women's side. So if you're in North Louisiana, you want to check out some basketball, you head over there to the campus of Grambling. Help the Jaguars get a little extra added incentive to having that fuel to the fire of some fans behind them, because we know Grambling is going to make it tough. On the other side of North Louisiana, in Monroe, Southern University softball is up in Monroe, Louisiana for the Warhawk Invitational. They'll be taking on many teams. Eastern Illinois is one of them, Houston Christian, ULM, to name a few up there. So if you want to watch some softball, Southern is up that way. So North Louisiana. And if you're down in Florida, near Vero Beach, Florida, it is the Andre Dawson Classic. Florida A&M, Southern, Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Jackson State, and University of Missouri are all going to be a part of that. Get a chance to check that out. And then down in New Orleans today, the HBCU Legacy Bowl is going to be showcased live at 3 o'clock, kickoff at Ullman Stadium on the campus of Tulane University. It's going to showcase some of the best black college football talent that we have on the NFL Network. Other than that, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in this morning. Want to thank Coach Brittany Williams, Southern University softball coach, coming on talking to us. Matthew Valera talking to us about the Hardwood Club. My man, Coach Carlos Funches, the head women's coach at Southern, talking about basketball. My man, Kevin Johnson, the head men's basketball coach at Southern University. How about Carrick Jackson, the head baseball coach up at the University of Missouri, has his team down in Vero Beach taking on the likes of the rest of the teams from the HBCU space down at the Andre Dawson Invitational. And then my man Blue, Zach McKennell from FCS Football Central, talking to us about the talent of the HBCU football players down there against each other for the NFL scouts, man. Appreciate everybody. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Go type in the Jaguar Journal. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram, the Jaguar Journal _, as well as on Facebook. Hit the Jaguar Journal. Follow us on all of our link trees. I appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button. We're putting out videos Mike is putting out the videos, chopping it up. So thank you for everybody. And we get our large listener group from Facebook. So I want to say thank you to everybody on Facebook that listening. Thank everybody out there listening on 107.3 YouTube and everything else, man. I appreciate you guys. Love you. I'll be back here at the same time next week. It's because it's the Jaguar Journal. Happy Mardi Gras. How about that? Mardi Gras, baby. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. See you next week. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.